Great.
Hi guys, welcome back. In the last session, we understood what is a distributed application. If one application is communicating with another application, then those applications are called as distributed applications. For example, if we take Make My Trip will communicate with the IRCTC. If you take the passport application, it will communicate with the Aadhaar application. If you take Google Pay or Phone Pay applications, they will communicate with the banking applications. So here, what is the main reason for one application to communicate with the another application? For business to business communication. IRCTC providing the train tickets booking facility, same time Make My Trip also providing the train tickets booking facility. IRCTC already implemented the logic to book the train tickets. Make My Trip don't want to implement the same logic again. Make My Trip want to reuse the logic of the IRCTC. So that's why Make My Trip application is communicating with the IRCTC. IRCTC doing business, Make My Trip also doing the business. So it is called business to business communication. So the main purpose of developing distributed applications for B2B communication. Then what about web application? Web applications are used for customer to business communication. One end user will directly communicate with the business by using a web application. Customer will communicate with the web applications directly. One application will communicate with the another application for B2B communications. Now here, how to develop the distributed applications. In order to develop the distributed applications, we are having distributed technologies. So what are the distributed technologies that are available in the market? CORBA is available, RMI is available, EJB available, SOAP-based web services available, RESTful services also available. By using these distributed technologies, we can develop distributed applications, right? So when we are going for distributed application, two actors will be available. One application will act as a provider. So what is the provider? The application which is providing services to other applications is called as a provider. Provider application is also called as resource application. Then what about consumer? Any application which is taking the services from the other applications, that is called consumer. Consumer is also called as client. Now here, yesterday I have given two scenarios where we are going to develop distributed applications. One application developed by one company want to access the another application developed by another company. So here B2B communication is going to happen. Whatever the logic is available in the IRCTC, that logic want to use by Make My Trip. So Make My Trip application is communicating with the IRCTC for B2B communication. This is called as web services communication. If one project wants to communicate with the another project, then we are going to use web services as a mediator. So earlier, people used it to work with the SOAP-based web services, but today we are using RESTful services to communicate from one application to another application. This comes under scenario 1. When it goes to scenario 2, currently we are going to follow microservices development. So backend functionality will be developed as multiple REST APIs. Hotels API available, flights API available, trains API is available. So frontend will be developed as a separate project. Backend functionalities will be developed as separate projects. So frontend is one application. In the backend, several applications are available. Front-end application want to communicate with several back-end applications. These are also called as distributed applications. Web service communication will be available. When we are going to develop these web service applications, the provider application and consumer application can be developed by using any technology. Sir, IRCTC developed by using Java. Make My Trip should be developed by using only Java? Not required. Now let us take the example of the IRCTC. IRCTC having the functionality to book the train ticket. Now, IRCTC application is acting as a provider for the several other applications. Now here, Make My Trip application is available. Make My Trip application is accessing IRCTC functionality. When customer access the Make My Trip to book the train ticket, Make My Trip don't have the logic to book the train ticket. Make My Trip will talk to IRCTC. And similarly, there is another website called Yatra website is available. By using Yatra website also, we can book the train tickets and flight tickets. Got it? So Yatra is another website. By using that also we can book the train ticket. And there is one more application is available, that is GoIbibo. So by using GoIbibo also we can book the tickets. Now, so here IRCTC acting as a provider and these applications are acting as clients. So this is my provider application, which is providing business services to other applications. This application is called as client 1 and this application is called as client 2 and this application is called as client 3. One provider can have multiple clients. One provider can have multiple clients. Now see, assume that this Make My Trip application is developed by using Python. Assume that. I don't know exactly, but we're taking the example, Python. IRCTC project is developed by using Java. And the Yatra application, assume that it is developed by using .NET. GoIbibo, assume that this application is developed by using PHP. So like this, the applications are developed by using different technologies. Even if the applications are developed by using different technologies, they can communicate with each other. So now Python application can send a request to Java application. Java application will process the request and will send the response to Python application. Right? Java application is communicating with the Python. .NET application is accessing the IRCTC. Yatra is developed by using .NET, assume that. So .NET application will send the request to the Java application. It will process the request and it will send the response to that application. And here GoIbibo application is available. This is developed by using PHP. PHP application is also sending the request to the Java application and Java application processing the request and sending the response. So like this, projects are available in the market. These projects are developed by using different technologies. So if two projects are communicating, then they are called as distributed application. So what is the scenario here? B2B scenario. Here what is the scenario? B2B scenario. Here what is the scenario? B2B scenario. So Make My Trip is doing business. IRCTC doing business. Yatra is doing business. GoIbibo doing business. As part of their business communication, one application is communicating with the another application. Here, IRCTC implemented the logic to book the train tickets. Same logic, Make My Trip, no need to write once again because the logic is already available in the IRCTC. So instead of rewriting the logic, Make My Trip will connect with the IRCTC. Make My Trip will send the passenger data to the IRCTC. IRCTC will book the train ticket. IRCTC will send the ticket data to the Make My Trip. Customer will access the Make My Trip. Customer will give the data to the Make My Trip. Make My Trip will internally give the data to IRCTC to execute the logic. IRCTC will execute the logic. IRCTC will book the ticket. IRCTC will send the ticket data to the Make My Trip. That is B2B. So if one application want to communicate with another application, they no need to be developed by using same language. One project is developed by using Java. Another project is developed by using Python. Still they can communicate. That is called interoperability. So when we are developing the web services or RESTful services, we need to understand a concept called interoperability. We need to understand a concept called interoperability. So what is the meaning of interoperability? Irrespective of the platform, irrespective of the language, if one application is communicating with another application, irrespective of language and platform, irrespective of language and platform, if applications are communicating, then they are called as interoperable applications. Are you guys getting my point? Irrespective of the language and platform, if applications are communicating, then they are called as interoperable applications. So what is the meaning of interoperable application? Java application should be able to communicate with the Python, and the Python application should be able to communicate with the .NET. .NET application should be able to communicate with the PHP. PHP application should be able to communicate with the Java. So like this, if one technology project can communicate with another technology project, then those projects are called as interoperable projects. In the real time, our applications should be interoperable. So .NET project should be able to communicate with the Java. Java project should be able to communicate with the Python. Python should be able to communicate with the .NET. Like this. So irrespective of the language and irrespective of the platform, if applications are communicating, then those applications are called as interoperable applications. By using RESTful services, we can develop interoperable applications. You get my point? By using RESTful services, we can develop interoperable applications. Interoperable applications. So what is the meaning of interoperable application? One technology project can communicate with the another technology project. How we are able to achieve the interoperability? To achieve the interoperability, one application will exchange the data with the another application by using XML format or Json format. Make My Trip will send the data to IRCTC in the XML format or Json format. Yatra application will send the data to IRCTC in the XML or JSON. GoIBIBO will send the data to the IRCTC in the XML or JSON. So when we are communicating from one application to another application, one application should send the data to another application should send the data to this application. So here client application is available and provider application is available. Here client and provider can be developed by using same technology and they can be developed by using different technology also. Java project can communicate with the Java project. Java project can communicate with the .NET project. Java project can communicate with the Python project. That is called business to business communication. I want to implement reusability. I want to achieve the reusability. Whatever the code is developed by one project, I don't want to develop the same code again. I want to reuse that code. Are you guys getting my point? Now see here, let us take a scenario. I want to develop a website. In this website, I want to display weather forecasting. That means weather forecast information I want to display. Based on the zip code, I want to identify the temperature today and next 1 week temperature information. Weather forecast application I want to develop. So how to get the weather forecasting? We need to communicate with the satellite and we need to get the temperature data. But I don't know how to communicate with the satellite by using my Java program. So for that, I have done some analysis in the market. In the analysis, IBM people developed one project. There is a project which is developed by IBM. So this IBM application will communicate with the satellite to get the temperature data. So assume that it is a satellite. How they developed, I don't know. They developed one application. That application can communicate with the satellite in order to get the data. So they implemented a complex business logic to communicate with the satellite. They spent 3 years of time and they invested 10 crores of rupees to develop this project. IBM developed one application. That IBM application can communicate with the satellite and it can get the temperature, weather forecasting information. For next 1 week, how the climate will be available, that application can identify by communicating with the satellite. Now, I want to develop Ashok IT weather forecast application. So in my company, I want to develop one project. By using my project, customers can get the weather forecasting information by giving a zip code. Okay, but actually, I don't know how to develop that logic to communicate with the satellite. IBM people developed this project by spending 1 year time and they invested 10 crores of money to develop this project. Let's take 3 years. So they have developed this project by spending 3 years of time and 10 crores budget they invested. Finally, their project is successful. They are able to communicate with the satellite and they are able to get the temperature data. Now, I have the same requirement in my project also. I want to display the temperature data by taking the zip code. So then what I should do? I need to communicate with the satellite to get the temperature data. For IBM itself, it has taken 3 years to develop the project. Now, if I want to develop, it may take 3 years or it may take another 4 years. And I need to spend the 10 crores budget and I need to invest 3 years of time. I don't have that much time and I don't have that much budget also. So whatever the logic is developed by IBM, I want to develop the same logic, but the problem is time and money. So in this scenario, what this Ashok IT company will do is, Ashok IT company will make a business dealing with the IBM. Hey IBM, I have seen your project which is outstanding in the market. Your project is able to communicate with the satellite. I came to know from my friends. I am also looking for the same kind of functionality in my project, but I don't want to waste my 3 years of time and I don't have 10 crores of money also. Can we do one business dealing? For my customers, I want to provide the facility to access weather forecasting in my project. So I have the customer base. My customers are using my web application. In my web application, based on the zip code, I want to display weather forecasting, but I don't know how to communicate with the satellite. I don't have time to do the analysis. I don't have the money to invest. Let us do one business dealing. When a customer access my application for the weather forecasting, I will send the request to your application with the data. Whatever the customer is trying to search in my application, that customer request, I will send it to you. Whatever the customer zip code is giving to get the weather forecasting, my application will give the zip code for your application. Your application should give me the temperature data. For every request, I will pay 10 rupees money for you. It is a lifelong business for us. Now, when customer is accessing my application with the zip code, I will give that zip code to you as a request. You take that zip code, your application already know how to communicate with the satellite. Based on the given zip code, you get the temperature data, you give it to my application. My application will give to my customer. So now here, I am redeveloping the project or I am reusing the project. Am I redeveloping the logic to communicate with the satellite? I am reusing the logic which is developed by IBM. I am going for reusability. So what is the advantage in this scenario? Within 2 days or 3 days in my project, I can display weather forecasting data. IBM took 3 years, 10 crores budget. They developed that project. The logic, complex logic already available. Now, Ashok IT doing the business with the IBM, Ashok IT project will communicate with the IBM to get the temperature data. My customers will access my application. My customers will try to get the temperature data. My application will take the data from the customer. My application will give the data to the IBM. IBM code will execute. IBM will give the temperature to my application. My application will give the temperature to the customer. End user will think that Ashok IT application getting the temperature from the satellite. End user don't know what logic I am executing. Now, similarly, when we go for Make My Trip application. So do you know what logic is executing in the Make My Trip when you are booking the trains? Do you know what logic is executing in the Make My Trip to book the trains? We don't know. So you will set for the trains and you will get the trains data. When you click on the trains booking, now, I'm okay with this train. I want to book this train. When I want to book this train, what will happen in the internal? What will happen internally? Internally, it is asking IRCTC username. You see here, when I am trying to book a train ticket by using Make My Trip is asking IRCTC username. So that means what? Make My Trip is communicating with IRCTC or not? So we will give our details in the Make My Trip. Make My Trip application will take our data and Make My Trip will give our data to IRCTC to book the ticket. Ticket booking logic will happen at the IRCTC. IRCTC have the logic to book the ticket. Once the ticket booking is completed, IRCTC will give the ticket information to Make My Trip. Make My Trip will give the ticket information to the customer. So that is business to business communication. Same scenario. IBM people developed a project. That project can communicate with the satellite. IBM people developed a project. That project will communicate with the satellite. Now I want to communicate with the satellite, but I don't know how to do it. Instead of redeveloping the same code again, I want to go for reusability. For every request, I will pay some amount for the IBM. For every request 10 rupees or for every request $1. Like that, we will make a business dealing. How many requests I will send from my application to IBM? Monthly basis, we will calculate how many requests we have sent, how much bill amount generated. Monthly, Ashok IT will pay the bill to the IBM. So that is business to business communication. Are you guys clear? What is business to business communication? Now, IBM project is developed by using Java. Ashok IT project is developed by using Java. One Java project can communicate with another Java project. Suppose IBM project developed by using .NET, Ashok IT project developed by using Java. Java application can communicate with another Java application. Java application can communicate with non-Java application also. That is called interoperability. That is called interoperability. Are you guys getting my point? Are you guys getting my point? What is interoperability? Yeah, what is the advantage of this business to business communication? Time saving and money saving. We are going to use the logic of one project inside the, we are going to reuse the logic of one project in the another project. And let me take one more scenario. So now in the India, our government made Aadhaar card is mandatory for every citizen. Okay. So there is a Aadhaar card application is available. There is a Aadhaar card application is available. When you apply for a Aadhaar card, they will provide you an Aadhaar number, and all the Indians' Aadhaar numbers will be maintained by Aadhaar card application. This Aadhaar card application is having one database. So all the Indian citizens' Aadhaar card details will be available in the Aadhaar database. Okay. So this Aadhaar card application can communicate with the Aadhaar database. Right, guys? It is a one central government project. So when you go for Aadhaar center, they will use one application. By using that application, they will book Aadhaar card for you. So once your card is approved, you will get a Aadhaar number. So your details, your name, your address, your Aadhaar number, everything will be available in the Aadhaar database. Okay, now TCS company developing a project for passport applications. People want to book the passport. When you want to book a passport, Aadhaar card is mandatory. Aadhaar number is mandatory if you want to book the passport. How the passport application will know Aadhaar number which you have provided is valid or not? I'm giving my Aadhaar number as 123456789. So when I'm trying to apply for a passport in the online, passport application is asking for my Aadhaar card. So if I give 123456789 as a Aadhaar card number, passport application will accept my Aadhaar number. Passport application will not accept my Aadhaar number. Guys, come on. Passport application will accept my Aadhaar. Passport application will not accept my Aadhaar. Will not accept. So do you think that passport application can connect to Aadhaar database to verify your Aadhaar number is valid or not? Is it possible? Do you think that passport application can connect to the Aadhaar database and verify the given Aadhaar number is valid or not? No. So because Aadhaar card project developed by one company, passport project developed by another company. Now here, when the citizen want to apply for a passport, valid Aadhaar card is required. If you give the valid Aadhaar card, then only you can apply for the passport. Otherwise, you cannot apply for the passport. So now, can passport identify this Aadhaar is valid or invalid? Passport application don't know this Aadhaar number is valid number or invalid number. So now here, when customers are trying to apply for a passport application will ask your Aadhaar number. Then passport application will give the Aadhaar number to the Aadhaar card application through web service communication. Then Aadhaar card application will verify that Aadhaar number is valid or not. It will give the status to the passport application. So here also business to business communication is available. Systems are integrated. So now passport application will send a request to Aadhaar application. Aadhaar application will verify that that Aadhaar number is valid or not. If it is valid, it will send the response as a valid number. If it is invalid, it will send the response as an invalid number. So based on the response given by the Aadhaar, passport application will execute the logic, whether to approve your passport application or not to approve your passport application. Are you guys able to understand my point? Aadhaar card project developed by one company by using one technology. Passport application developed by another company by using another technology. So passport application needs to verify given Aadhaar number is valid or not. So for that, passport application should communicate with the Aadhaar application. So passport project developed by one company, Aadhaar project developed by another company. When you are applying for the passport should verify your Aadhaar number is valid or not. Passport cannot communicate with the Aadhaar database. We will not have the access for that. Passport application should give request to Aadhaar with your Aadhaar number when you apply for the Aadhaar card. When you apply for the passport, right? Aadhaar card application will take that request, will do the checking in the database that number is present or not. If it is present, it will give the response to the passport application. If it is not present, it will give error response to the passport. Based on that, passport application will execute the next logic. So one passport application doing one business, Aadhaar application doing another business. As part of the business to business communication, the interaction is required. So here, customer will talk to passport application, will apply for a passport. Passport application will send the request to Aadhaar. Aadhaar application will verify the Aadhaar number valid or not. Then it will give the response. Based on the response, passport application will process the request. Now, do you understand why we need to learn distributed applications development? In the real time, so many projects are communicating with the other projects as part of a business requirement. Are you guys able to follow me? Are you guys able to follow me? Are you guys able to follow me? So now you got the clarity why one application should communicate with the another application. Now you got the clarity why one application should communicate with the another application. One scenario, business purpose. Another scenario, reusability purpose. Code reusability. Code reusability. To achieve the code reusability, one project is going to communicate with the another project. When one project is communicating with the another project, we need to exchange the data. Passport application should send the data to Aadhaar application. Aadhaar application should send the data to the passport. In order to exchange the data, these applications will use XML data or Json data. XML and Json data we will use as a mediator. Passport application will send the request to Aadhaar with the XML data as input or JSON data as a input. Then this application will process the request, will send the response back to the client application in the XML or JSON format. So here, when one application is communicating with the another application, how they are going to exchange the data? Mostly, they will use XML or JSON format to send the data from one application to another application. Why? Because XML and JSON are the platform independent formats. So Java can understand XML, .NET can understand XML. Java can understand JSON, .NET can understand JSON. Java can understand XML, JSON, Python can understand XML and JSON. When we are developing distributed applications, one application will send the data to another application in the form of XML or JSON. Currently, the XML format is outdated in the market. People are preferring JSON data to send the request and to receive the response. One application will send the request to another application with the XML data or JSON data. Another application will process the request, will send the response back in the form of XML or JSON. Are you guys clear with my point? So how to work with XML, how to work with JSON, what is the difference between XML and JSON, that I will cover in the tomorrow session. How to use JSON data in the Java application. For example, MakeMyTrip is taking the data from the client customer and MakeMyTrip giving the XML data to IRCTC. How IRCTC will deal with the XML data, how IRCTC will send the response to the MakeMyTrip, how XML data we can send from one application to another application, how to read the data, XML data in the Java, how to create XML in the Java, how to read XML in the Java, how to create JSON in the Java, how to work with JSON in the Java application, that we are going to use and learn in the tomorrow session. In a project, we can use both XML and JSON also. One application can support for both XML data and JSON data also. For one customer, I will use XML for one client. IRCTC will use XML for one client. For another client, IRCTC can use JSON also. It depends upon the client requirement. Who want to go with XML, they can use XML. Who want to go with JSON, they can go for JSON. That flexibility will be available in the distributed applications. So tomorrow you will get more clarity on the XML data and JSON data. Are you guys clear with my point? Are you guys clear with my point? Perfect. Guys, as I told, today I'm closing the session a little early because I have some other meeting. So tomorrow we are going to understand how to work with XML and how to work with the JSON. Tomorrow we can use the same Zoom link. Tomorrow class will be there from 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. IST. In the tomorrow session, you will understand how to work with the XML data in the Java applications, how one application can use the XML data to interact with another application that we are going to discuss. Once XML and JAX be completed, then we will learn the JSON and JSON. Then I will explain about HTTP protocol also before going to start our REST API development. Still we are understanding the introduction part. Okay guys, good. Thank you. So the backup video I will share in the Ashok IT mobile app. If anybody missed the yesterday's session and today's session, please download the Ashok IT app. You will get the backup video in the app. Okay. Tomorrow we have a class at the same time, 7:30 to 9 class will be there. In the tomorrow class, we'll talk about XML format. Thank you guys. I'm closing session little early because I have some work. Thank you. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you guys.